Good evening, George, and welcome to the Lawton Town Crier. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. You've kind of been hard to get a hold of lately, and it's because you've been running for office. You have a runoff coming up pretty quick.
That's true,
And
yes.
you are going to be in a forum this coming Thursday against your opponent. And let's talk a little bit about this upcoming election. You do have a runoff, and voting for the runoff is going to be next Tuesday. What are some of the things that you want the people of Ward 4 to know when they go to the polls about you?
As they say, that's a good question. I want them to realize that in the past 3 years, we've really grown in Lawton. A lot of that is just good hard work, knowing how to put things in the proper perspective and getting things done. And by that I mean, for example, on the east side in Ward 4, we have 3 new parks: MacArthur Park, Skyline Park, and Pioneer Park. Those parks are state-of-the-art, all brand new equipment, around $400,000 to $500,000 each park. We've got those in. We have several speed bumps in the east part of Gore in the different areas on Kingsbriar Avenue, for example. We have some there, we have some over in MacArthur, and we also have some coming in Park Lane. So those are things that people want. We put some in on a bell in the Skyline Edition. We've been repairing infrastructure in that area, new cable. We've been putting in some new water and some new sewer in that area also. We have completely redone Cash Road from Flower Mound to 45th. 2 segments of road on Rogers Lane on the east side have been completed since I've been on the council. I got the bridge completely rebuilt in Coronado that has been out for about 7 years, which limited the people in that area to only one ingress-egress. So we did get that fixed. Also completely redid the street, the surface of the road on Gore Boulevard all the way from Lori Tatum, which is basically at the interstate, all the way to Flower Mound Road. And then of course, I've been working on the traffic signals, trying to get those on a better sequence where we can move traffic a lot better. Gore is only one of 3 ways into the east part of Lawton. The east part of Lawton is almost an island to itself, and by that I mean we only have 3 ways to enter the east part of Lawton. We have Rogers Lane, which is a rather old road. It's a 2-lane road. It is one I got recovered, but at the same time it's still a 2-lane road. The bridges dictate some of that, and then of course some of that's tribal land, so it's created a few problems to get it solved and get us a larger road through there. But we do have that road, and then of course we have Gore Boulevard, which runs over to the east part of Lawton, and then we have Highway 7 or Lee Boulevard, and that's the only way you get over there. So everything we do to help those roads and strengthen those roads and make them bigger, especially the traffic flow, it just helps the flow to the east side. If anyone's driven Gore, and I suspect everyone watching this podcast tonight has driven Gore Boulevard, they know that the traffic can be really pretty unbearable, especially in the morning and at the afternoon time when everyone's out of work. So the traffic lights on Gore all the way from Fort Sill Boulevard going east all the way to Flower Mound and then on to 45th Street have been resynchronized. Now we've had some problems and we have some issues that we're working out to get those traffic lights better, but we even took some out. Like for example, we took some out on 7th Street and a couple of other places that was causing a little bit of a delay and really weren't required. So we cleaned that up, got those out. We've also straightened up some other stoplights down in front of the Public Service Building and a few other areas to speed them up, speed traffic up. At the same time, I just proposed to the council 2 council meetings back, and it did pass. I'm going to start putting left turn permissible arrows. Well, what that is, when you go to take a left turn at an intersection and the green light lasts whatever time limit it's set on and it goes out, then you get a yellow arrow. I'm sure everyone's seen that, that's flashing. You can still take a left turn if the traffic isn't coming. That's kind of moving the east side into the 21st century along with the rest of Lawton. Now we do have some of those in Lawton in other areas, but not a lot. So my program on that is to start replacing at all the major intersections and putting a permissive left turn at these intersections. So that's something we're working on. So a lot of work been done in Ward 4. I'm proud of everything we've done. It's a lot to get done in 3 years as a councilman. It hasn't been done before. We're behind 50, 60 years on some of our infrastructure problems and road problems. So we're trying to fix that all out. It just takes time.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you have done. Currently, you serve on a number of committees within the city. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And one of the committees, y'all were discussing a TIF, a tax increment financing. Are you the chair of that committee?
I am not.
You are not. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about how important TIFs are to the city of Lawton and as the overall impact on the economy of Lawton?
Well, TIFs are a little bit difficult to understand until you really study them. So let me make it as simple as I can. What a TIF does, it takes a certain location, a certain area, a certain group of buildings or houses or property, and you declare that a TIF. All the money that you get in taxes, whether it's industry, hotel, whatever it happens to be, that tax base is kept right there in that same TIF. And it increases all of the other properties in value. It increases the revenues that go into that to build more buildings, to do new infrastructure, to put new traffic lights in, whatever you might need. So that money stays right there. It's not taken out of that area and put into other places. So what does that do to your economy? Well, it certainly strengthens it. It certainly makes it better. Case in point, the Hilton Hotel and Convention Center that we have, that's in a TIF. And so all that money goes right back into that area where the shopping center is. It builds more infrastructure for that area. It creates more opportunity for other industries to come in. Some of those industries move out, then there's something there for new ones to move into. It attracts and brings more businesses in. So TIFs have been, you might say, an instrument that we just started not too many years ago that have really paid off as far as keeping money in an area and making it grow.
Okay.
Now that's a simple explanation.
Okay. Let's move real quick to another topic, and let's talk about public safety. About 3 meetings ago, the city council, I believe it was Chief Williams, the fire chief, brought to city council about having ambulances and providing I guess a mutual aid agreement with the 2 other ambulance services. What do you think about the fire department expanding into providing ambulance services for mutual aid? And the example he gave at the council meeting dealt with mass casualties and situations where the other 2 ambulance services are stressed or over capacity.
Well, let me answer that in this type of situation. I am on a new committee that the mayor just formed. So when this was brought before the council, this has been discussed before by other councils, even before I got here. This is a topic that has come up at other numerous occasions since I've been on the council. The mayor decided the best thing to do was to form a committee, let us research and see what it is that we as a council can come up with based on peer cities. Historical data is great, especially if you use historical data to your advantage and you look and see what happens and how things derive and how things either become good or how things fail. So because of this committee and the work that we just started undertaking, looking at the different things as far as historical data, recommendations from other cities, our peer cities. Also, we had a report done working with the fire department here about 1.5 years ago on how efficient our fire department was, the timing, things like how much time it takes to make calls, how many vehicles respond to certain types of calls. So we did a complete comprehensive analysis of that about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So using the information even that we got from that at the time, we're going to assimilate that, put it together, and really see what the best result is. So I don't want to do any pre-analysis before we do that. I don't think that's fair. So it's a job in progress, and I know that the council will expect the board or the panel, whatever you'd like to call it, to come up with all this information, present it to them, and then a decision will be made.
Okay, let's move and shift over to police in this case. Public safety is an important aspect of living in Lawton, and lately a lot of people have been concerned about the homelessness. In fact, on tonight's agenda, we were talking a little bit about panhandling.
Mm-hmm.
What is your take on law enforcement within Lawton? Do you think we're where we need to be, or do we need to expand our law enforcement role? Do we have enough officers? What is your view from the dais on that?
Well, I think that, of course, there's always room for improvement, and when you think there's not room for improvement, then that's when you probably really need the improvement. We have a police force that, by table of organization and equipment, we call that a TONE. According to that, we're at full strength. So, do we have enough police officers? Sure we do. For a city our size, and when you rate it with other cities and you compare it to peer cities, we have enough police officers. They're extremely well trained. I think everyone in this city can feel safe with the police force that we have. Their presence is well known all over town. They do a good job of that. I feel they're extremely well trained. I know a lot of them personally, and I would certainly put my life in their hands at any time. So I think we're good there. The chief, which I know personally, always wants new things, better things for his men, and we as council also want that. And as long as we can get that in the budget every year, we do that, and we have done that. We just bought the police a brand new truck to take care of when we have anything that might come up in the future, like a disaster, or we have some sort of a deal, a terrorist attack or something of that nature. We just bought a brand new truck for them to take care of that. We also just bought new radio equipment to put us in the 21st century, where we have contact with all the other police and sheriff and county officials throughout this region of the county and the country. So we're always doing new and better things for our police. Can they use more people? Well, I think you can always use more help, but there has to be a fine line there as far as what it takes to get the job done, what you can afford to have, and what works. And I think our police force is working well right now. I think we have plenty of officers. We are starting a few new areas for the homeless. We, in fact, have been working on that. We've got a committee that was formed to look into that and see what we're doing. The city manager's working with that. So there may be some changes in the future on hiring some new people to work, but right now we're doing it in-house with what we have, and it seems to be working. So we'll see how that develops. That's another work in progress. But in answer to your question, bottom line is we have no positions to be filled on the police department. We have good, well-trained officers, and I believe the citizens feel safe, and I know I do.
Okay, wonderful. Now, let's go back to your time here on the council and up on the dais. What was the most challenging thing that you have had to deal with, or what is the biggest thing that you had to learn about being a city councilor for the first time?
Well, I've had a lot of experience dealing with groups. I've had 5 different businesses through the last 50 years. Still have some of those businesses that are in progress right now. I have employees anywhere from 20 in some companies to as much as 40 employees in one of my current other companies. So I'm around people, I work with people. It's not new to me. You learn how to get along with people. You learn to listen to other people, but you still have a job to do, and it's not always the job that makes everyone happy. So coming on the council, you have to realize that you're there to represent a constituency. In this case, it would be Ward 4. So you're there to represent them. So while you may or may not agree with, let's say, a proposal that comes along, you have to think about the people you represent. So you have to keep them in mind and then make the best business decision that you can. So having said all of that about working with people, understanding people, for the last 55 plus years actually doing that, when I came on the council, I still had to learn that there's 8 people up there sitting on the diocese along with the mayor, and everyone is representing a particular ward, and they have a particular interest in particular programs that they're wanting to get done. And so you have to learn, and it is the most difficult thing, how to navigate, so as to speak, through all of the other things that you have to work with in order to get your agenda done. Now, someone said, "Do you have an agenda?" Well, yes, I have an agenda. That's why I ran for council. I have an agenda of making Lawton a better place to live. And with the experience that I have in the many years being in the construction business, the engineering business, as well as doing subdivisions and roads and that type of construction work, that's my background. So of course, I'm looking at the roads that we're some 70 years behind on, and that was what was my main concern. The mayor saw that. The mayor knew that we needed a lot of help in that area, so that's what I did. I fortunately became the chair of a committee that he formed for the roads and bridges, and that's what I work on, along with all the other things that you have to work on. So you have a many splintered thing to work on. You've got to take care of your constituents, you got to take care of the infrastructure, things like parks, things like speed bumps, things like easements, fences, all the different things that come along. Plus, I'm trying to do a major road program across the city of Lawton, not just Ward 4, but the whole city of Lawton, because everyone has to remember, it doesn't matter where you live in Lawton, you're still a citizen of Lawton, and if you're on the east side, you're going to go to the west side. People on the west side are going to go to the east side. So you've got to have the same amount of roads across the city fixed for everyone where it's equal, but at the same time, get your ward up and running and keep them on top. So the navigation of handling all these different tiers of work and tiers of projects and still keeping your constituents your primary concern and interest, it makes for a full-time job. And it can be difficult at times. I don't think anyone really has an idea how many hours of council people put in on running this city. And it's certainly not anything for the faint of heart. People look at this and they think, well, I'll go down every 2 weeks and sit 3 or 4 hours at a council meeting. It's a lot more than that. If you're a councilman, then you're working, putting a lot of hours in, doing a lot of things, because that's really what it takes to get it done.
Awesome. Councilman Gill, George, thank you very much
You bet.
for being a friend, and
You bet.
look forward to having you back on the show.
I look forward to being back.